China's Chang'e 6 lunar probe's on its way back to Earth after collecting rock and soil samples from the far side of the moon. China's National Space Agency confirmed the uncrewed spacecraft lifted off from the moon's surface early on Tuesday and entered lunar orbit. If it returns safely to Earth, China would become the first country to retrieve samples from the moon's far side. Well, Keith Cowing is editor of NASAWatch.com. He explained how big a deal this is.
Well, it's a big deal in that this is the first time we will get samples back from the far side of the moon. Prior to this, if I can use my little moon, this is the side we see. All of the samples have come from this side. This mission landed on the back side down here, a very difficult place to get to. So it's the first samples from the far side of the moon, but this is the second time China has landed on the far side of the moon, and they're the only country that have done this. So it's a big deal.
So, and is the big deal, is it the fact that this has been done successfully so far, or are we expecting some sort of treasure trove from these bucketfuls of rocks?
Well, anytime your space mission goes and does what it's supposed to do and comes home, that's celebration. But the rocks, again, the rocks that they're looking to get are from the South Pole Aitken Basin down here. Back billions of years ago, something very big smashed the moon, and there's a big dent. You can't really see it unless you're looking at maps, but it exposed rocks that were very deep inside the moon. So what this mission may bring back is the oldest moon rocks we've ever seen from a very early time in the solar system, perhaps a very short time after the moon itself formed. So this is a big deal, with a big D. Yeah.
The European Space Agency reckons that more than 100 lunar missions by private companies and by governments are expected to take place by 2030. Why are all these countries suddenly so eager to go back up there?
Well, it's interesting. I'm 68, and I grew up back when we had the space race. It was America and Russia, and then everybody, or Soviets and everybody in between. And it was difficult. Nobody had ever done it before. And it was a race for a variety of geopolitical reasons and so forth. Well, we did that, and it sort of fell out of fashion for 10 or 20 years. And then suddenly the ability to go back to the moon was something that prior to that had been like the ultimate technological badge of honor for a nation. And then other countries started developing their own abilities to do this. Japan, and China, and India, and Israel, and I think the list gets longer every year. So now the bar for going down is lower, and here's a chance for the other billions of people in the world to, have a chance to do something amazing. But here's the thing, you didn't ask this, but the most important thing is I remember seeing somebody walk on the surface of the moon. You might have remembered, I don't know. But for 2/3 of the people alive today have never seen a person walk on the surface of another world. So when we eventually do that, and all these missions build up to it, when we do that, it's going to be like doing the same thing again for the first time. This will be the first lunar landing for billions of people. So it's all part of one big...
OK, so just China, when these rocks get back to Earth and China goes through them, does it keep them and the data to itself, or does the world get to see what rocks from the other side of the world look like?
Now, the nice thing about lunar research is that you may have politics back on Earth, but usually the science is something that's done and the results come up rather quickly. As a matter of fact, although the U.S. and China can't really do much in space, American researchers were allowed to submit proposals to study the lunar material that's being brought back by Chang'e 6. So, China's been very, very open about this, and they're justifiably proud that they're doing this. So they, right, I think, want everybody to know what they found.
And so is China now the big space power?
It depends. Where you stand depends on where you sit. They've had an excellent track record thus far. Other countries have landed or crashed or done stuff, and we haven't gotten our missions really back into the swing of things. So right now they seem to be the one to pay attention to. But as you mentioned before, within a very few years, this is going to become a commonplace thing to do. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the more you want to do it. So it feeds on itself.
Good talking to you as ever, Keith. Thank you so much. Keith Cowing, editor of NASAWatch.com.